Hello, everybody. Welcome back. More reporting here from the ATSC 3.0 show here in Atlanta. Had a chance to catch up with Fraunhofer's Robert Bleidt. Thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us today. Robert, a lot of excitement about next generation audio and its impact on the broadcast community. Give me an overview about what next generation audio means and specifically the role that MPEG-H may play in introducing new opportunities for broadcasters.
It's a chance for broadcasters to really provide consumers with the next generation of audio experience. With broadcasting today, we can provide stereo or 5.1 surround sound, but the product has to be mixed for the average consumer, that hypothetical compromised person. In the future, consumers will have the ability to adjust the audio elements to their liking in their living room or on their mobile device on the go. And so instead of having the announcer at one fixed level, some people may want to have the announcer a little louder to provide more intelligibility. Some people may prefer to have the feel of more of a live event and they'd want the announcer subdued. It allows them to set not only the level of the announcer but also of sound effects or other audio elements. It also offers broadcasters the ability to now send interactive audio elements to consumers that they couldn't do before in a broadcast that has to be one mix for a uniform audience. For example, we've shown with our experiments at NASCAR that we can also transmit the pit crew to driver radios, and so if you desire as a viewer, you can listen in on the driver speaking with the pit crew, something that's not been possible in traditional broadcasts. That's the interactive and personalized element that the MPEG-H system brings to the broadcast industry. The other element of this is the immersive sound aspect. The immersive sound is really a step almost as far beyond surround as surround was beyond stereo. And it's now realistic enough that we can really transport viewers from watching at home to really feeling like they're part of the audience at an event.
Has to have an implications from a business standpoint. How, if at all, does the introduction of these new services affect the economics of broadcasting, new opportunities or new investments that they may have to make?
Well, it has several aspects. So if we look at the revenue side, some of these new features can make programs more attractive to a wider audience. One thing I forgot to mention is, of course, now we can send programs in multiple languages. You know, before, in the earlier standard, there was only the possibility for one, perhaps two languages in some cases. And that second language has been used to meet the requirements for what we call audio description or video description. In other words, describing the scene for people who are visually impaired. And so we really can only send one language on primetime programming now. With MPEG-H, we can send many languages, and in our exhibit we've shown sending commercials that also have Spanish and Chinese soundtracks as well to sort of extend the reach of commercials. So we can make programs more attractive, we can extend the reach of commercials by allowing viewers to listen in their preferred language instead of trying to understand an English commercial, for example. And then if we look at the cost sides, MPEG-H is designed to mesh with existing operational procedures. It's designed to use existing broadcast equipment. We've shown producing all of the advanced features of MPEG-H, including immersive sound, using today's audio consoles that broadcasters have in their studios and remote trucks. We don't think broadcasters will have to really purchase much additional equipment at all because of the way that we transmit audio through the television plant. They can use their existing monitoring equipment. And we have a four-stage process to allow broadcasts to evolve from merely doing what we're doing with ATSC 1.0 today to the full immersive and interactive personalized experience in the future. And that process can be done on the schedule that each broadcaster desires. So it's a way for them to gradually evolve to the audio of the future.
Outstanding. From a rollout standpoint, new skill sets that need to be developed. You've mentioned that you're able to leverage existing investments in technology and practices, but you're clearly creating a new language, a new set of options creatively for broadcasters to take advantage of this. How do you see that playing out, and what role does the MPEG-H Alliance and its members expect to play in helping people through that process?
Well, we think that using these new interactive features will be a learning process for the creatives. Certainly we have experienced some of that learning ourselves in doing experiments and trials at live sporting events. And we have presented that experience to the industry. We stand ready to advise people, advise broadcasters on how the equipment can be used and what we've learned, but it's really up to broadcasters to become familiar with the technology and understand how to best use it to tell their stories in the manner that their particular shows or productions require. And I can see two distinct areas of learning that will need to take place that don't exist today. One is being able to prepare these interactive elements in the program. So I mentioned that we'll have not only multiple languages, but we could have home and away team announcers, athlete microphones, the race car driver's radio. Those elements will have to be blended into the production. Now, that should be fairly straightforward, because for other purposes broadcasters do many different audio mixes in parallel today. You know, they may have an international feed from a sports event where it's a different mix. So they're used to that concept. It'll just be showing them the particular tools to use to do that, as we've demonstrated with mixing live broadcasts. A slightly different area is that of immersive sound. And there, the sound design will have to be modified slightly so that for listeners who have immersive sound at home, it gives them that feeling of realism. That's a learning process, just as it was when we went from stereo to surround, just as when we went from standard definition video to high definition video, and will again if the industry transitions to 4K. So what Fraunhofer has done is we have done experiments, and we now have creatives to act as advisors.
Outstanding. Sounds like a really terrific opportunity. What advice do you have for broadcasters to embrace, take this on, and take their programming to the next level?
Well, they need to really gain experience with what the technology can do, and then, as I said, they need to decide how to employ that in their programming. And I'm sure it will take some experience in order to learn what works best for a particular genre of programming, particular sports. It's going to take some learning. And we stand ready to do experiments and trials and support broadcasters in that process.
Sounds like an exciting future. Thanks so much for taking the time to chat. Back to you.